Hello, welcome to Paddle Forward, the podcast where we navigate the currents of life, embracing motherhood, mindfulness, and the pursuit of our dreams. I'm your host, Anacani Walters, and I'm thrilled to embark on this journey with you. In each episode, I'll dive into insightful conversations, sharing inspirational stories, explore practical strategies to help you unleash your creativity, find happiness within yourself, and navigate the beautiful but sometimes challenging waters of life. So, you guys see, I'm in a library. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I literally have like 30 minutes before I got to go pick up my baby from daycare. I just finished teaching an amazing toddler in me yoga or baby in me yoga class, and so I'm on base. I tried to do it earlier, but it was raining cats and dogs. So today's topic is all about finding joy in motherhood. Um, so how are you doing? I was like, I don't even have coffee. I don't have nothing to drink. We're just gonna, I don't really think that anybody comes back here, to be honest, because when I moved the chair, it had, it had webs on it. So if you're listening from your earbuds or your headset, yeah, don't worry about it because there's nothing really exciting to see behind me. That's not true. I like the library. Um, I like reading now. So, anyways, I recently did a blog and it was about basically the joys of motherhood. And I wanted to come on here really quick and just do a really quick podcast about embracing the little moments. Um, I think we tend to forget those little moments when things get chaotic. And that's why I love what I do in terms of um, teaching moms or dads, because I teach both, it's an open class, about the power of mindfulness practices, especially when you include your littles. And it's, this concept that motherhood is really a lot of high and lows. And when we get into either or, we often overlook those little moments of joy. And so I just want you to get comfortable, grab a cup of coffee, your tea, and then I just want to, talk to you about how to find happiness in those everyday little moments, especially when it's hard. If you're a new mom, this is your first baby, it's really hard. The learning curve, especially for me, was really hard. I often ended up spending a lot of time feeling like something was wrong with me. Like the maternal instinct skipped me because I went into this mode of feeling like I was always looked at because I was an older mom. I was already 40 when I got pregnant. I was pretty much 41 a few months after he was born. And so it was like, what's wrong with you? Like, you should already know how to take care of a baby. And I'm like, no, like, nothing prepared me I have a nurse background. I was a nurse for like 20 years. I even spent a year as an OBGYN clinical coordinator, scribe, and personal assistant to like the high risk OBG. And I worked with midwives and doulas, and I babysat, like I did all the CPR and all that stuff. None of that stuff prepares you, by the way, for motherhood. Like, it's just something that a lot of people just make us feel like it's something we should already know, and it's like, no, um, it's not instinctual for some people, especially for your first. Okay, if everybody's kind of just being honest. um, and so the first one that I want to talk about are your morning moments. So for me, I get asked a lot, like, do you sleep? Like, how do you get so much done? And for me, it's because I wake up 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Like this morning, I am so excited about my journey into entrepreneurship. Like, my mind is exploding with ideas and ways to really like hone in my gifts and how to like bring them out into the world that I literally woke up at 1 a.m. like just on my own, and I could not go back to sleep because that's how excited I was. I know that my son's cycle, and so he usually wakes up around 5 o'clock to 6. Sometimes he will wake up around 3. I usually basically just breastfeed him. He goes back to sleep, and that's usually when he'll fall asleep and not wake up until 6. But I know about 5:30 is the max I have. And so I used to not do it all the time, but for me, it was the only time I had because I'm a stay at home mom to really work on my business. And I always had a routine. I it was hard because sometimes I would feel regretful doing my routine because it would eat up at my time that I would have to potentially work on my business and do all the things that I needed to do for work. But I go take care of my business, and then I go to while I'm brushing my teeth, because I'm one of those people that I brush my teeth like 3 or 4 times a day because I hate that feeling of like an unclean mouth. I want my mouth to be fresh all the time, and so I'm always brushing my teeth. But while I'm brushing my teeth, I start the pot of water. I always have a cup of hot water. Lately, I've been putting a few drops of essential oil, lemon essential oil, to detox my liver. And then I do tapping. I tap, and it's part of it is facial yoga. Part of it is just releasing any emotions that I might be having. It helps waking up my lymphatics. And then I usually will look to see what I'm going to be doing. Sometimes I'll do a yoga practice, sometimes I'll meditate. I usually try to spend a few minutes to write down what I was gratitude for the night before, because I was not good about writing my gratitude late at night. I always just did it earlier in the morning. And mornings can be such a magical time because no matter what happened yesterday, it's this feeling of a fresh beginning. And it's your moment, really. Even if you're only waking up 15 minutes before your kids or your child wakes up, it's it's finding those few moments before the chaos starts. Inhaling, take a few deep breaths. Inhale peace, and exhale the chaos. If you need to go back and think about what happened yesterday, maybe something that you're not very proud of, or that you wish you would have done something better, I usually try to have those moments at night. When I do these rituals in the morning, it's about what do I want to do today? How do I want to be better? And usually I've already thought about this the night before. I'm just reinforcing to myself what I'm about to do today. I love basically starting my day with aromatherapy. And when I was pregnant, specifically, I always used joy. I call it Joy in a Bottle. It's a special blend from Young Living. And it really kind of helped me stay in the moment and enhance that feeling of just joy of being pregnant, because it's the first time I've ever been pregnant and the first pregnancy that I was able to take to term. And it took a while, but there was a lot of anxiety and a lot of like negative emotions that came with it. So having that sensory to kind of go into my olfactory system to really enhance the positive feelings that I wanted to hold on to. And so I always start with joy, or I start with energy. It depends on where I am mentally. And it really, joy has this like floral, uplifting scent, and so I typically use it with a carrier oil as actually my perfume. And so it's just a really simple but yet like powerful way to really start your morning. Now, the second thing is mindful playtime. Now, this is where my expertise comes in. I teach baby and me yoga and toddler and me yoga. And, playtime is not just for your children, it's for you too. I think it's our opportunity to reconnect with our inner child, to laugh, to, create memories together, building blocks, reading books, exploring nature, allows us to remember how to actually be present, how to like, I love watching my son. Like, he might see a plane for like the 100th time in the sky because we live so close to the base and they're always flying over our head. But every time he sees one, he's like, wow, wow. And like, it's just such a awesome thing to watch a child like just be so happy about even the smallest things, because it's still like their mind is like, this is like amazing. And we lose that as we get older, for some of us, that childish enthusiasm about the small things. And it's important to remember that when you're playing, though, that you don't take control. You allow your child to control the play. Don't get into the adult mode and take over. Allow them to guide how you guys play, and then just go with the flow. It's something that I love to do when my toddler in me yoga, because it's very more sensory driven. They are technically the boss, and we kind of just like work around them. Another really cool way to like introduce joy, especially if you guys are like laughing and having fun. If you're diffusing it, it just makes you guys feel even more happier, and it's amazing. The third tip is gentle self care. And you're like, yeah, I don't have time. We all say that, but it goes back to that saying that if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of others. Like, you cannot pour from an empty cup. And you can find pockets of time to practice self-care. It may only be 5 minutes. It may only be literally you putting some essential oils and taking some deep breaths in, less than 5 minutes. And that's might be like, that's all I got. That's enough. Like, you don't need a 30-minute, hour like practice of meditation or yoga. Sometimes I only do 10 to 12 minutes, and I still feel really good about doing it. It releases the tension in my mind, it releases the tension in my body. Sometimes it was just as simple as literally taking a bath with my son. Instead of me giving him a bath, we took a bath together. And we still do that, because there's Epsom salts in the water. And I make sure I put some of that relaxing essential oils that are bath safe and kids friendly. So we both get the benefit, and we're both ready for, sleep. And I sleep good, he sleeps good. And that was my self care for a really long time, until I got to a place where I started to prioritize it more, because I wanted to basically keep up with him, because he's now 2 and it's really hard. So finding energy, or a calming essential oil, giving yourself just a simple hand massage will do. But really, finding, maybe just go outside for 5 minutes. Like, sometimes that is your self-care, walking to the park instead of driving, if it's close enough, and it's not like crazy hot or something. The fourth tip I want to give you is embracing imperfection. Motherhood is very much this beautifully imperfect journey, and you have to know that that's okay. There are going to be things that don't go smoothly. There are going to be things that don't go right. And we just talked about it today. Like, feeling like you have so much to do, but then trying to take time out because you want to do some self care, and then regretting your decision and being hard on yourself because you feel like you were lazy because you took those times to yourself instead of doing the chores, doing the dishes, cooking dinner. And it's like you have to give yourself grace. Inhale, exhale. Okay. Um, when you get those overwhelming feeling, that's why I teach stress techniques, because I suffered from poor stress management, and it led to really horrible um, things like heart problems. And I it was bad. Like, I was having bloody noses all the time. I was having headaches for 12 hours. And I just thought something was wrong within my body, not realizing that it was in my mind. Like, I wasn't managing my stress enough. I was lying to myself when I was telling myself that I was a good stress manager. And so when you really feel overwhelmed, a simple thing as taking a deep breath 3 times to really ground yourself. I use aromatherapy because it's a quick fix. It goes into your olfactory system, it triggers your brain, and it senses all the things that need to happen so that it triggers that, it turns off that fight or flight, and then it starts to relax your central nervous system, and then your body starts to relax, and everything goes from what's happening here. Everything happens in your mind. When you have an anxiety attack, it's triggered in your mind first. And so, to know that when you're in the thick of it, and remember that it is okay to ask for help. For me, that is one of the hardest things that I've had to do. And sometimes it would be like I would be so upset that I would have to do it that I would almost ask in attitude. And then that just made things worse. And then I'd be like, you know what, forget it. I'll just do it myself. But you do have to give yourself grace and be nice to the people who offer it. And it's like the abundance, like you're asking for all these things. Maybe you're praying to God or the universe to give you, like, just wish, you know I had like 5 minutes to yourself. And then you have a friend or your spouse or your partner who's like, hey, if you want, I can take the baby or whatever. And you're like, no, 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 it's okay. And it's like, that's the answer. You were asking for that. You need to be open to how it's going to come to you. So the fifth tip is celebrating milestones, big and small. And that means you and the baby, from their first smile to their first steps. Um, you know, it's hard to realize it when you're in the middle of parenting, and you forget to sometimes capture these moments. That's why journaling is so great, because then you can capture how you're feeling, and then you go back and you read it and you're like, oh, like I remember that. It really helps you trigger your memory, because you're never going to get those first back. And trying to be present again, taking those deep breaths, regrounding yourself. Um, like when my son wants to carry something and then he drops it, like that instinct to be like, what, oh my god, like, no, especially if it makes a huge mess, but then be like, it is what it is, like, let's just laugh it off. How much can we salvage? Is it something that we can just, like, lick from the top and throw away the rest? Like, it is what it is. Take a picture, you know find something to make it funny, so that it's one, they're not feeling guilty. They're children, they're babies, they're going to make mistakes. That's how they learn. And to not put our adult expectations on the children. Um, and, you know, um, for you, maybe you were consistent in self care for like 7 days. Woohoo! Give yourself what's up, high five, virtual high five, girl. Maybe you went back to the gym. Maybe you asked for help for the first time. Um, the things that we don't normally look at, like we always celebrate, like the first birthdays, the first time they walk, the first time they crawl, the first word. And it's like, what about the other little things, like their first smile or their first fart, or um, being able to be there for your child when they fall and you support them. So that's the other one. The sixth tip is building a supportive community. So isolation is a huge thing, especially if you're new or if you're an older mom like I was. Again, it was hard for me to find parents that were my age with small children, one. And then two, that feeling that you couldn't ask for help because you should already know what to do. So, be open. Find your fellow moms. They are out there. You just have to sometimes ask. Um, and when you do find your tribe, lean into them, especially when it's getting hard. You'd be surprised how many people are feeling the same thing. That's why I loved hosting my Baby and Me yoga class, because it is about building that support. It takes a tribe to raise a child. That is very much true. And so I definitely would recommend that. My seventh tip is practicing gratitude. Sometimes it's hard to be in a place of gratitude when you're a new mom, being, spit up on and having diaper explosions, not being able to sleep, not being able to eat your food when it's hot, having to give up on your dreams, things like that. Know that, um, I'm here for you. And even if you're just going to write, I'm happy, I'm grateful that I have somewhere to sleep. I'm grateful that I have a baby. I'm grateful that, you know, I actually got to eat once today. It might seem very small, but that mindset shift set will actually go much longer in the long run. So find whatever it is that you can be happy about. And then the eighth tip is finding joy in everyday tasks. I found that as my son got older and more active, including him in chores like laundry, teaching him how to like cook, um, washing the dishes together, although it took longer and sometimes I had to deal with more patient building, it was still actually a lot more fun. Like, I hate washing dishes, I hate doing laundry, but when we do it together, it's kind of, it ends up being a little bit more fun. Be silly. Again, embrace your inner child, dance around the kitchen, sing silly songs. Um, Play your favorite music, talk to them even though you don't understand what they're saying. And then at night, do your evening reflection. I've had those moments. I've had days where, like, there was just so many things that I felt like I did awfully as a mom, that I was a terrible mom. But it was like, okay, how can we move forward? Did I apologize to him, to my son? And what can I do to make tomorrow better? Like, let's hug it out. I'm really sorry. Mommy should not have reacted that way. Mommy's gonna do better tomorrow. And then how do I actually do that? Not just say it, because after a while, when they get older, that's not going to work. It's about, you know understanding that it's a continuously learning journey, but to know that it will get better. You will get better. You will start to learn. um, but you're not repeating the same mistakes. If you're you don't want to feel bad about it every single time. Try to be better. Try to see what triggered you. Try to see what you did or what you can do to make it better the next time. um, and it really does, reflecting it allows you to really let it go before you sleep. So one, you can have better sleep, and then two, when you wake up, you've already kind of let it go, and so you feel more at peace. So motherhood is just a journey of countless little moments that really can bring immense joy if you allow it to. And by really embracing all of these moments, incorporating small practices, nurturing your well being, making sure that you're eating and you're eating nutritious, not fast food or fried foods, things that are not going to really help you in the long run, are great for you and baby. Like, I love baby snacks. Like, those little snacks, I'm like, I'm gonna have some, you're gonna have some. Like, one for you, two for mama. Like, make it fun. If it's good for them, it's definitely got to be good for me. Um, and we led weaning. So he ate what we ate pretty much the entire time after he started eating, and so it was really easy for me to eat nutritiously, because he was like, well, I'm cooking for him and I want him to have the best, and guess what? I'm gonna enjoy the food with you, so we're gonna both have the best. And that's really been my key. Like, people are like, dude, like, what happened? Like, motherhood, like, having a baby really like changed. Like, people can see I'm like, they've never seen me at this weight, this active, and they're like, how? Like, I can't even imagine how you do stuff. Self care is a big part of it. Making sure that I'm doing all the stuff that I need to take care of my mind, my body, and my spirit. It takes a lot of time management, and because I've included my son into my daily practices, I went from just regular yoga to now baby and me yoga to then toddler and me yoga. I did it before I started teaching it, and that's how I know the benefit of why, and that's why I'm so passionate about teaching it to moms. Like, for me, I never had this like innate bonding. Like, even afterwards, I just like look at them and I'm like, oh my god, like, that's really my baby. Like, I didn't have that connection, but through baby and me yoga, like, the first time I heard him cry in someone else's arms, like, I had a full on like anxiety. Like, I felt that fight or flight. And that's when I was like, oh yeah. Like, Mama Bear like came out, and I was like, okay, okay, like, yes, I have some mother instincts. Like, it was my small win. Like, that was not like, in the moment it felt awful, Like it literally felt like my heart sank. Like it was, like, give me back my baby. But looking back, it was like my win, because then it made me really feel like, oh my God, like I actually do have motherly instincts, like I'm connected. But up to then, I really struggled. Like something is wrong with me. I don't have this like connection to my baby. Like I'm looking at him like it doesn't even feel like it's mine, and he came out of me. Like it's weird. So don't worry. I have, like, when I start really going deeper into my story, when I really like dive deep and become vulnerable in my private member area, or when I'm teaching in our safe space in my like live yoga classes, I really spilled the beans, because I want people to understand that these are actual normal feelings. I've had countless conversations with other moms who've privately told me things that they wouldn't tell in public, because they feel ashamed about the feelings. They feel that something's wrong with them, that they are bad people for having them. I'm like, no, it's called being human. You were human before you were a mom. And that's what makes you a superhero, because you still feel those, and you're still an amazing parent. So, support your journey with essential oils. I highly recommend Joy. I will make sure I put them in the description notes so that you know where to get it. It was literally my lifesaver from pregnancy and beyond. So, take some deep breath, smile, embrace the joy that it brings every day of just being a mom. Source that love, that strength, and then just make it into that endless joy. Remember that this is a journey. You're never alone. Even if I'm your only person, I see you, I hear you, I'm here for you, I love you. You're doing the best you can, and that, my friend, is enough. I love you, especially on your hardest days, and I will catch you in the next episode. So, thank you for joining me on this episode of Paddle Forward. I hope you found inspiration, guidance, and practical tools to navigate your journey with more mindfulness and purpose. Remember that no matter where you are in life, you have the power to steer your own course. If you found value in today's episode, please be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. And if you are open to it, I'd love your support. And if you can leave a positive review, share with your friends, your loved ones, other parents, I would absolutely love it. I'd also love to hear from you. Connect with me on social, send me a DM. I'd love to, introduce myself, get to know you on a deeper level, and invite you into my community. So, remember, every paddle stroke brings us closer to our dreams. So keep paddling forward, embracing the challenges and embracing the journey, embracing the beauty of the journey. Until next time, stay inspired, stay beautiful, and keep paddling forward.